One of my brightest titan in the world, enjoying the Arc 3.0.
You're busy,
Hmm.
Guardian, but the
Listen, I
Crucible
see
needs
Titans
veterans
here
now
using
more than ever.
Curious of Fallen Star, Thunder Crash. Why would they use that in PvP when it's more valuable in PvE? That because their super is full. Unless they fully go intellect with it, then yes,
What's going on out
yes.
there?
As long as it's a
Talk to me,
swapable's
Guardian.
opinion, and that will literally shows the viability of each and every exotic individually. I see. Well, good luck out there, and show those titans how to really use exotics in PvP. E. Droidicus, download my tier list. Rancher, Rancher. What's epic, YouTubers? Skills here, and today's video, this is going to be an all-out video that I'm ready to do. This one is, in my opinion, every single exotic's Titan armor in Season 18, Season of the Plunder. I did full testing of the new exotics. I did other testings with the original exotics, but the and I do have my results and my opinions of every single tier list. And yes, this might be controversial, but there will be no swappable tier list. Yes, I said it. No swappable tier list. And the reason why I said that is because most of the exotics may look vulnerable because swappable existing, such as for example, Eternal Warrior. Here, after your super is full, you gain Overshield. It's set up for an example like that, right? Right? And then you cast it, and then bam, you gain Overshield. But that's kind of pointless. That's really pointless. So if Bungie decided to turn off armor swapping, rest in peace for those exotics. Oh man, you might as well make a whole bunch of memes with this, similar to the Aeon Safe in the previous years, before it got massively buffed. But it's time, and it's time for my opinions tier listing. Now 37 exotics in the game. Which one is viable in mostly PvE? Which one is not that good in PvP or PvE? Let's find out. So, now let's get started. D tier are the exotics that are the worst in the game and only hope of being usable is PvE or higher in-game content of PvE Vanguard or games. And that's coming in dead last. The worst exotic in the game, Eternal Warrior. Eternal Warrior sets us up for being the worst of the Eternal Disaster. You only get an overshield when you activate Fist of Havoc, but that's really it. Though. Look at Karis of Fallen Star really, really outshining the Eternal Warrior. It makes the Eternal Warrior built for shame anyways. Look at the face. I can see you. Your face is full of shame right here. This is going to be this is the example of the worst exotic in the game right now. No, nothing has gone over with this one. None. I hope Bungie will buff this thing in the future because right now it is so weak that nobody's using it. Coming in number 36, Stronghold. Man, you wish you had particle deconstruction back, don't you, Stronghold? Eh, maximize guard stats on equipped swords. Shots blocked immediately after guarding will heal you. Well, let me tell you something. After particle deconstruction disappeared, you're no longer usable. Oh, it makes every other sword look hot dog garbage. Well, except for other half troops or lament. But other than those things, it's not worth of getting you make use of this one. After particle deconstruction left during season of the splicers, that's pretty much it for this exotic. No hope of using this exotic anytime soon. Coming in the number 35. Oh, how the mighty has fallen. Ursa Furiosa. Now, when it when it got nerfed multiple times throughout the entire Destiny 2, originally Ursa Furiosa in the Forsaken era used to fully used to fully get your super back in PvP, but now that's toned down and even more toned down. Well, you might as well say Yeah, rest in peace, Ursa Furiosa. You won't be missed for what you have been going for. You're only useful in Grand Masters, and that's pretty much it. Or even Master Raid, or who knows. And coming in at number 34, Saint 14. I'm sorry, Saint 14, your helmet really needs a rework. Targets that enters your Water Dawn are blinded, while allies that pass through gains overshield. Guarding with the Sentinel Shield blinds nearby targets. Unfortunately, guarding with the Sentinel Shield who blinds nearby target is truly false in Destiny in PvP. They don't just fully they're not blind in PvP. But in PvE, though, yes, they actually do blind, I guess. You can say that for sure. But other than that, just another super reliant in Helmet Saint 14 relying on this one. I'm sorry, Saint 14, no offense, you're an awesome legendary titan and a good announcer in Trials of Osiris, but at least make your helmet look awesome and look reworked, I guess. Now then, coming in number 33, sec- the second chance. These exotic got no chance in hell. You gain a second in charge of your shield throw melee, which becomes shield piercing and stuns barrier champions. First off, yes, it stuns barrier champions, but it doesn't one-shot barrier champions. From my testing from the previous season, uh, which means in practice this exotic is only meant for low in-game content. Yes, you can become Captain America with controlled demolition, but other than that, it's not valuable, and it's also not valuable in PvP. Yes, again, controlled demolition, but the shield throw and its tracking sucks. Sucks. And, and now next, now coming to number 32. Hall of Fire Heart. Listen, I know I might get hate for this one, but we can all just face it. It is completely outclassed by Heart of Inmost Light. Yeah, I said it. I don't regret saying it again. Then, improve the recharge rate of your solar abilities. Improves your recharge rate when your super is full. Provides a small benefit of airborne effectiveness stats for all weapons. Unfortunately, unfortunately, like I said, is outclassed by Heart of Inmost Light that did everything better, which it will be explained later. But unfortunately, this exotic is unfortunately not in a good spot due to being outclassed so hard by Heart of Inmost Light. This proves that you don't need super in order to make the exotic look good. And coming in number 31, Kefri's Horn. Listen, I know we all love this Kefri's Horn, and it says it looks like the best exotic in the game, or it looks ugly. But let's just say it. It's complete hot dog garbage. Solar damage kills and recharge your barricade, which unleashes solar energy when summoned, which means it will summon a thermite grenade, like a little thermite grenade. But although even with all of that though, oh, it's not that good in general. I would say it's not necessary to use it in an offensive way. I want it like Dead Messenger style. Like I want Kefri's Horn to be like Dead Messenger style. A major rework for the Kefri's Horn. It is right now a hot dog garbage right now for Kefri's Horn. Horn. Overall, it just deserves another D tier list. And finally, the king of D tier. Well, at least this thing is viable for forever being quiet. Massive the quiet one. And at least this one is good at least. Gain ability energy when you're damaged. When critically wounded, gain maximum health on kills. Which means, yeah, it only regens on red health on kills. So this thing is not really that good. But it does have a little niche though, with stasis due to the fragments, and then Arc 3, and then recently Arc 3.0. Like for example, uh, Spark. of recharge. While critically wounded, your melee and grenade energy charges more quicker. But there's many thing options other than Mass of the Quiet One uh, that will set up the example of it. So at least Mass of the Quiet One is valuable in that state. That's all it can be do. Okay, C tiers are underrated exotics in PvP, but they're actually good in PvP and PvE in their rightful place. Coming in number 29, Curious the Fallen Star, a better version of the Eternal Warrior. It greatly increases your damage of your Thunder Crash on impact. Gain an overshield lasts longer the further you travel before striking a target. This one is especially good in Gambit uh, because you can just instant kill the boss or melt the boss's health is super easy in that one. And is even good in raids too, or even other high ending content against certain champions. And this one, this one deserves a great spot in the C tier. Here, here, coming in at number 28, Actium Warwick. It steadily removes a proportion of your auto rifles or machine guns in reserve, provide moderate benefits of airborne effectiveness stats for auto rifles uh, and machine guns. He 7 Crest of Alpha Lupi. It's surviving well, generating orbit power from supers and healing pulse when the barricade is active. This is a good this is a good way to use this is a good way to use Sentinel class with the aspect of Bastion, because when you summon a barricade, you gain an overshield, and not just that, a little healing in return with Crest of Alpha Luffy. And when you summon your super, you gain additional orbs for summoning your super, such as the Bubble and Sentinel Bubble. Coming to number 20, Surface Enclosure. Up next is Surface Enclosure. Here. Powered up melee final blows unleashes a damaging explosions. Finishers and final blows against more combatants targets increases the damage and radius of the explosion. And yes, this is most likely, I would say in my opinion, the best way to use this one is Solo 3.0 at least. At least because it has plenty of times to explosions with consecration and even Soul Invictus is with more explosions, and even with heavy combat mod, you get it back no time, and even with elemental wells is even more better. Yeah, it's like never-ending explosions. Like Tor says, explosions. Coming up next, I'm not a big fan of this exotic, Phoenix Cradle. Oh, your Soul Invictus lasts twice as long. Allies who pass through your sunspot also gain Soul Invictus and Solar Restoration. This exotic is apparently good for supporting your teammates if you're planning on creating Soul Invictus. Or at least sunspots if you're creating sunspots to heal allies. And unfortunately, though, I'm not a big fan of this one. Because not just that, it is completely outclassed by Lorelai's Splinter Helm. Yeah, I had to say that one. I'm sorry. Alright, so if you don't have this one, Phoenix Cradle on, why wearing Phoenix Cradle when you have Lorelai on? Up next, this one's confusing. Aeon Safe. This one is a lot to explain. Sector Force. Rapid precision hits with a weapon temporarily increases your reload speed and weapon swap speed. When you summon a champion or defeat a mini-boss, Your nearby fire team members gain a burst of grenade and melee energy. Aeon Koltu doesn't have a sector force role equip also gain burst of super energy. Now then, sector sector insight. And successfully a precision weapon takedown has a chance to drop an orb of power for your allies. When you when you're finishing an elite enemy, you generate special ammo for your fire team. When you when you're using a finisher on a boss or or mini boss, you gain generated heavy ammo for your fire team nearby. Aeon Cult allies who do not have the Sector Insight role equipped also gain a weapon bonus damage for a short time, and now Sector Vigor. And gain full class ability energy as your allies die. Gain full class ability energy when you resurrect an ally. When you catch your full when you cast your super, nearby allies gain a burst of healing. Uh, Aeon Cult allies who do not have the Sector Vigor role equipped also gain an Overshield. Oh, this is a lot to explain. So basically, let's cut this one short. If you wrap, there's one part in PvP that is here. Rapid precision hits with a weapon temporarily increases your reload speed and weapon swap speed. So and the second part is, well, of Sector Force is basically PvE. And then you have Insight. Here's the PvP part. Successful precision weapon takedown has a chance is to drop an orb of power for your allies. Please. And then the second part is mostly for for PvE. Now this is the PvP part. You gain full class ability energy as your ally dies. So gain full class ability when you're resurrecting an ally. When you cast your super, nearby allies gain an instant burst of healing. Hey, so what's this? So what you're going this one, in my opinion? Well, overall, the sector of vigor overall is the perfect choice for PvE. No, PvP. I meant PvP. The the other two, well, yes, the first slot has an exotic trait, but the second slot is most likely PvE related. But Sector Vigor is meant for PvP and PvE. So, so overall, well, it's very long to explain. It's very long to explain, but it is very good for Void 3.0 mainly because of that reason. Because of all of these reasons, it comes for it. Yeah. Overall, Aeon Safe became a zero to a hero from previous buffed update. Yeah. Next up on the list, I'm not a big fan of this exotics, is Titan's Rampart. Yeah, you and your allies can shoot through your towering barricade, which has reduced health and duration. This was the part that I hate the most. Health and duration. What can benefit this one the most? You name it. Void 3.0 with aspect of Bastion. And without a question, without any questions, or sure. Next up on the list is C tier. This one might be valuable now. Armamentarium. All that for just 2 grenades? If 1 grenade is not enough, then 2 grenades should be enough, right? This one is actually valuable in its own terms, and since Arc 3.0 comes out, it's even better with Arc 3.0. Yes, it does have great niches with stasis, but nothing can beat out Arc 3.0 right now. Yeah, you can have Gathering a Storm aspects, and then you have Spark, and then you have a Spark with, and then you have Spark of Shock, which means your arc grenades jolt near to die targets. Sorry if I'm a little bit tongue twisted today. If you have a Spark of Shock, it actually has a good niche with it, with decent crowd controlling. Overall, there's much more desire for. It's actually good this time around and no longer being overshadowed by Code of the Earthshaker. And last but not least, the king of C tier. Not much people realized it. Precious Scars. Final blows with the weapons with a damage type matching to your subclass creates a burst of healing around you. After reviving or be revived, you gain an aura that provides an overshield to you and your allies. I would say Precious Scars is most likely, in my opinion, is best paired with Void 3.0. Oh, because because anything that relates to overshield, and you gain benefits of this. However, the problem is to the Precious Scars is that it is extremely demanding for you to use the same weapon that matches to your same subclass. Uh, I can say this an example. A good example is using Void 3.0 Grid Skipper. Using Grid Skipper that is Void, and then you're on the Void subclass. So, what can I say this for the build for a future video? Precious Void. Precious Void. Because the Void is so precious to use. Overall, this is my opinion about Precious Scars being the king of C tiers and be in the Witch Queen expansion, and that's it for the C tiers. Alright, actually good exotics in their own terms, and also neutral around all the season. And coming, coming in number 20, Lions Rampant. Yes, the Stompies, a better Stompies versions for Titans. Yeah, provide an additional air maneuver and enables hipfire accuracy when you're in the air during lift. Yeah, provide a large benefit of airborne effectiveness stats for all weapons while hipfire. Hey, anyone got a DMT for an example? Well, Space Cowboy is back, baby. Hey, coming in 19. Coming in 19. This might be valuable now thanks to Arc 3.0. Oh, ACD feedback. Hey, melee hits build energy. Being struck by a melee attack reduces incoming damage and unleash the the energy in a devastating explosion. This is especially when this is an arc, especially when this is now arc. I can see this ACD feedback being way more valuable than it is. Melee combat is now viable in PvP. Due to this tone downing of shotgunning, and I can see this one being very, very goodly used, especially when Glaives can now finally benefited ACD feedback melee. It's, it's gonna be really, really rough. It's gonna be really rough with these. Please, coming in up next. This one is good. This one's good at least. Horfron Z. It replaces your. Uh, When using the stasis subclass, your barricade becomes a wall of stasis crystal that slows nearby targets when created. Standing behind these barricades will grant you and your allies increased weapon reload, stability, and range. It basically replaces your barricade with stasis crystals, and basically it just gives you benefit of a rally barricade. It's a really good defensive exotic, uh, that actually gives you a viability to stasis. Up next in the B tier slot, not many people use this one anymore. Intea's wards, if I can look for it. These Intea's wards used to be useless, and now they're buff. Improved sliding after his sprinting for a short time reflects incoming damage. These are good for being anti-super, such as an example, Golden Gun and Nova Bomb. Gathering Tempest. Gathering Tempest. Although the flawed thing about this exotic, you take chip damage. Though, but it does benefit it greatly with stasis because it has the aspect where you can slide, uh, where you oftenly requires the sliding. Related. It is also a hard counter to fusion rifle users. Yes. Yeah, take that, fusion rifles users. Yes. Up next in the B tier slot, this one just came out, but I tested it all out. Its name is John Cena. No, it's not John Cena. Point contact cannon brace. These things. This one is a glass cannon to use. Defeating targets with your thunderclap restores melee energy. Targets near you when you're using thunderclap suffers lightning strikes. Being amplified increases the range of these lightning strikes. These are very, these are very lethal. Well, in PvE. I can tell. Well, the elemental wells in even a heavy combat mod can get you this exotic at full power use without even a brink of mercy in PvE. Yeah, in PvE, and it's also very good at clearing and too. Yeah, too. I can see this one also being good in PvP, but it is very situational. Oh, of an exotic. Yeah, yeah. Coming in next up on the B tier list, Peacekeepers. Yeah, it basically gives basically a better version of at Armoritarian. Reloads stow SMGs and allows you to ready them instantly. Improves handling with SMGs and your movement while wielding one. Provides a moderate benefit to everyone effectiveness of all the stats of all SMG weapons. Basically, I'm normally not a pick of this one, but if you have a God Roll Cyrus Wrath Adept, and if you're wearing Peacekeepers, say goodbye to auto rifles. You basically you only needed Shayura's Wrath Adept, which is the king of SMG. Sadly, it's not in the Trials loophole now, but when it returns, oh boy, eh, go do Trials of Osiris and pick up that sweet, sexy Shayura's Wrath Adept, and make sure you get that baby Remax range with kill clip. Yeah. Yeah. Next up, next up on the list, this is kind of this is fun. This exotic was fun, actually. Action's Wake. Yeah, fusion grenade now explodes on impact and gains throw speed. Final blows with this fusion grenade grants grenade energy. Yeah, Solo 3.0 makes this exotic rose to use, but not much in PvP though, due to the fact they toned down roaring flames with fusion grenades because they knew because previously it was one-shotting people well, in PvP. But yet these exotics are still fun to use, especially in PvP. It does have a little niche in PvP though. But overall it's still good. It's still good, just not in this prime form. Not back in this prime form. Right. And now, in my opinion, Now, in my opinion, the king of PvP, the king of B tier, I would say, the king of PvP, what am I saying? The king of B tier, in my opinion, not much people know how to fully utilize this. Icefall Mantle. Huh. Replace your barricade with a personal overshield. When you activate your barricade, you create a burst of surround yourself that's slowed by combatants. While you have the overshield, and barricade does not recharge. Hard. So, for an example, this one recently got buffed, and not many people realize that ice and fire actually has a good relationship with each other, right? Yes, sir. These are Solar 3.0 and a healing grenade, and basically with a healing grenade, you're basically generating your own riff. You're basically generating your own healing riff. It's just to you and your allies. It's just only you gets the overshield, while your allies only gets a healing grenade for that pricing. For an example like this. Been working hard on these tier list videos for Beyond Light. Or no, Witch Queen. What am I talking about? This isn't Beyond Light. Beyond Light is over. This is Witch Queen. Anyways, A tier are strong exotic section, and this is hard to come up to. So I'm gonna have to place this one. I'm gonna have to do this one very, very wisely around here. Wisely, in my opinion. And coming in the first A tier, my favorite exotic of all time, Path of the Burning Steps. Yeah, solo final blows periodically it gives you an escalated bonus to weapon damage. You were harder to slow or freeze with stasis, and when you break out, you take no damage from doing so, creating a burst of solar energy around yourself. Although these things got toned down in a recent nerf, although although with the good thing about these exotics is that you use solar weapons like the Vex Walker. Although, sure, particle deconstruction, who cares? But that's only a seasonal mods, and no excuse about that. With Vex Walker or Tommy's Matchbook or even Solar 3.0 make these boots more lethal, well, and makes you more of a glass cannon. Then, next up on the list, yeah, this is a tricky one. Doomfang Pauldron. And Void melee kills gives you super energy. Yeah, while Sentinel Shield is active, melee kills recharges shield throws, which extended your supers on hit. Now, although these got toned down in PvP, it doesn't change the fact they're still good outright in PvE. They are the fastest way to gain super when using Void 3.0. Hell, next up on the list, I think this exotic finally needs some respect around here. MK44 Standardides. It, it used to always be in Skullforce's shadow, but is no longer Skullforce's shadow. Gaining overshield. Yeah, gaining overshield when you're sprinting at full health with Seismic Strike, Hammer Strike, or Shield Bash equipped and charge. Hits with these abilities recharges a proportion of your melee energy. Hey, basically this is mainly good uh, for Void 3.0, and it has a good niche with Arc 3.0 too, because a Juggernaut aspect for Arc that combines with it that can safely gives you an overshield and plus giving you a Juggernaut shield to make them make sure they watch out. Void 3.0, however, it gives you plenty of good benefits. Yeah, combination with the access of Bastion and offensive bulwark. Combine that one with a heavy combat mod, you'll get it back in no time. It's like a mini skull fort, of all things. Next up on the A tier list, next up on the list of A tier, in my opinion, of course, Shotgun Apes rejoice. No backup plans. And when you have a full void melee energy, Shotgun Final Blows gives you a void overshield, consume your melee, and consumes your melee energy. Shotgun Final Blows also gives you melee energy, provides the moderate benefits of airborne effectiveness for all stats of shotgunning. This is way too good for shotgun aping. Yes, right, you shotgun using chaperones. The only reason why chaperone is good because the spread shotguns were nerfed significantly, you chicken nuggets. But either way, this is too good of an exotic to even coming up with some beautiful aping skills. Those. And as long as you have quick charge on most of the aggressive frame shotguns or even lightweight shotguns, you're basically good to go. No, no worries. No worries about any other good exotics. Just only use no backups. Next up on the list, this is a hard part. Next up on the A tier list, this is a hard part. Syntheseps. Yes. This is mainly good in This is great in PvP. But proccing it seems hard. But with Sentinel, it's easier to do. Ew. Increase melee long range and improve melee and super damage when you're surrounded. I mostly use this one for, well, Void 3.0. Due to the fact it benefits a whole lot with Void. Mostly. Mostly. And yes, it has a great niche in PvE with Striker subclass too, or even with anything. It's basically anything, to be honest. It's basically a well-rounded, good melee exotic, well-rounded. Coming in the next one, uh, Worm God, also a good neutral game exotic. Melee kills increase melee damage for a short period of time. Additional kills extend the duration and increase its effect. Always good always good for Arc 3.0, especially even in Void 3.0 too. Solar 3.0 too, but not Stasis. Yeah, but not Stasis, sadly. It doesn't have a niche with that, unfortunately. Yeah, unfortunately. Next up on the list, this is the hard part. One Eye Mask. Yes, One Eye Mask was down from his glory days, but having a Void Overshield, but highlights targets that who dares damage to use, track down and destroy them for an Overshield. So basically, you kill an enemy that is marked, who damaged you, you gain an overshield, a full healing, and an overshield. This benefits with offensive bulwark. This this applies to offensive bulwark, which means One Eye Mask is mainly meant for Void 3.0. Whoever damaged you, they are marked for death. And next up on the list, guess what Rise to uses thanks to Arc 3.0? Skullfort. Right. Kills with arc melees, it triggers a health regeneration and restores melee energy. This is an alternative way. This is an alternative way of using arc class. And if you have knockout, that's kind of overkill. You have knockout, that's already overkill enough. Yeah, enough, which makes you safer. Which is safer to save. You could use a juggernaut and start shoulder charging, but however. But however, knockout seems to be at better use. And when using super, and what else you're using super that gain, and whenever you gain the super, when you cast the super and say you take damage, and when you get a kill with the super, you also gain health regeneration. Take that, Eternal Warrior. Here, here. And, and next up on the list of A tier, without question, I would say the king of A tier, Heart of Inmost Light. Hey, using ability energy, using a grenade, melee, or barricade empowers the other two abilities. Empowerment means abilities have faster regen melees and grenades does more damage, and barricades have more hits. It says nothing about thrusters, so in my opinion, grenades is the key. The key way of using this Heart of Inmost Light in Arc 3.0 is using thrusters because you can get it faster. Here, this means lightning grenades, for example, can have a key way to one-shotting people in PvP. In PvP, or shoulder charge, if have a chance, can literally one-shot guardians with low resilience. Yes. It still is it is a fantastic exotic to use for regenerating and constantly spamming abilities. Now then, this is going to be controversial in my opinion. Okay, here we go. S tiers are the king of an exotics. Is for every single exotic in the game. No questions asked. Just straight up king. Okay. Number 3. Peregrine Greaves. All shorter charges including Seismic Strike, Hammer Strike, or even Shield Bash. They gain bonus damage while you're in the air, provide small benefits of airborne effectiveness stats to all weapons. This means ever since the nerf to shoulder charging, this exotic is an example of the king of all Arc 3.0, unless you want to play PvE and waste your melee there. But this one sets examples to be the king of shoulder charging options. And just because one reason you don't need to have is scope for doing all the help. Oh, no. It no longer one-shot since shoulder charge no longer one-shots regularly. Peregrine Greaves rose to use. And I feel like the Peregrine Greaves belongs into this spot. Number 2, it was the king of season. It was the king of the season of the last season. Lorelei Splinter Helm. When you critically wounded, full class ability when you cast a barricade creates a sunspot in your location. and has an improved restoration effect. This one is the King of Solar 3.0 for Titans. Titans are meant to not die. They meant to tank. They meant to become a monsters of Solar 3.0. And not to mention, this exotic is extremely the most sexiest exotic helmet in life in Destiny 2. And finally, number one, don't be surprised, Doom Marchers. Never take off the Doom Marchers. Who doesn't love chain lightning nearby dead bodies? He's increased speed, sprint speed. Sprint speed builds up a static charge after melee attack an enemy that will chain damage to nearby enemies. Never stop aping enemies with melees. And that's why you never take them off in the first place. Sure, they were nerfed, but let's just be honest. This one meant to be the king of Arc 3.0. Oh, and from the very beginning, before point of contact bracing cannon, it was even announced. And that's why people, you never take off the Doom Marchers. This video was very, very long to take, and I really thank you for keep on hearing me, even though I'm not really the best at chatting or something like that. But I'm not really the best at chatting. I'm not really the best at talking or explaining most of the exotics in the Witch Queen. I'm sure I'm ready to pre-order Lights Fall this month, and I can't wait to get my hands on that new exotic, the Quicksilver. But in the meantime, I hope y'all have a good day. Thanks for checking it out, and as always, laters. And that is it. Yes, I'm getting better with my outro, so that's why I'm making a new one. So, yeah, this is the true fated Knights of Excalibur, Emperor Excalibur, as you can say, but I'm still epic regardless. Anyways, I hope you guys learned something new from this video, and I will catch you guys next time when I'm posting a video or a stream. Until we meet again, have a good day.